Delicious, guys. This is how you make just traditional Italian lasagna. It's crispy, it's cheesy, it's just absolutely delicious, and each layer is decadent. Hello and welcome back. Today we're gonna make one of my favorite homemade dishes, lasagna. Fun fact about me, I absolutely love Italian food. When I was in Italy, there was literally nothing that tasted bad. Everywhere I went, the food was delicious. So let me try and make a traditional Italian lasagna. The differentiation between American lasagna and Italian lasagna is Italian lasagna has carrots and celery mixed into the meat sauce. They also use fresh tomato or like whole tomato. I'm gonna use canned instead of just like pasta sauce. In addition, they use bechamel sauce instead of just like ricotta. I am not a huge fan of ricotta, so I'm definitely sticking with the bechamel sauce. In addition, Italian lasagna uses Parmesan and mozzarella. Fun fact, I got all of my ingredients from Italy. I highly recommend you do this. All of the ingredients at Italy are very fresh, they're delicious, and not to mention authentic, which is important. I'm excited for you to make lasagna with me. We already know it's going to be lit because that's just the vibes here. While the water for the pasta is boiling, I'm going to start on the meat sauce, my favorite part. Okay, I'm going to use a Dutch oven like always. Drizzle a little bit of olive oil into the pan. Pre-chopped my vegetables, so I'm just going to throw them in here. I'm going to start with the carrots because they're the most annoying to get going, and then the onions. Then I'm going to use the celery. Be sure to don't use too much carrots and celery. I know you really want to sneak veggies in there, but it can really throw off the taste of the sauce. So be sure not to put too many carrots and celery inside. Now I'm just going to stir, let everything cook well in there. Typical Italian lasagna has sausage, beef, and veal. And so that's what my lasagna is going to have as well. I'm very excited to cook veal because I've never cooked veal in my life. But I'm going to start off with the sweet Italian sausage. You want to break up the meat immediately as soon as it hits the pan. You don't want it to just stay in a blob. So try and mix in the vegetables with it immediately at every step. Don't let it just sit in the pan. I got a half a pound of beef because beef is the least delicious of all of these meats, and I didn't want it to overpower the taste of the lasagna. You should be using about 2 pounds of meat. And again, I'm just going to mix it all in. And the beef will immediately start to brown as soon as it hits the pan. Up next is the veal. I wasn't prepared for it to just look like ground turkey, but this is the veal. And I got a pound of veal because I want it to be stronger than the beef. I really want it to be more like a veal lasagna than a beef lasagna. You're just going to let the vegetables and the meat cook down and all mix together and brown before you add the sauce and the tomatoes. As you cook it down, it is also time to season. I'm going in with some black pepper, my favorite. I'm also going to grind in some black peppercorn just because I love the freshness of black peppercorn. A warning, you should not add additional oil to the pan. The meat should have enough oil just radiating from it. I'm going to add some umami flavor just because I want to add a depth of flavor to my dish. Of course, I'm going to add some Italian seasoning. I read somewhere that Italian seasoning is BS, but it does have all herbs that traditional Italian dishes do have, so I will stand by it for now. I'm adding some thyme, oregano, basil, onion powder of course, and then some garlic powder. I'm also going to add a little bit of garlic salt. Not too much, just a little bit. Something to keep in mind when cooking the sauce and browning the meat is that you do not want your sauce to get clumpy. So you need to like make sure that you are declumping the meat as you do it. You cannot have it clumpy. The smoother, the better. That being said, I think it's time to add in the tomato sauce. I'm going to start by adding in just some fresh cherry tomatoes. Then I'm going to add in these Palmardini cherry tomatoes. This brand is from Italy, so I'm clearly going for a very authentic taste. I'm going to add in this Antonella tomato pulp. Has 14 ounces of tomatoes. This is again from Sardinia, Italy. I don't like tomato sauce to go to waste, so I like to add water to the can. And then you just use all the residual sauce. I also am going to add a little bit more tomatoes. I'm going to add some diced tomatoes to this because again, I just want it to be a little bit more tomatoey. Woo! Perfect. I know that I've seasoned the meat already, but I'm also going to season the sauce. I'm going to add a sprig or two of fresh rosemary. Throw it in. Delicious. I'm going to add some more pepper in as well. Just pepper it in. You might be like, why the fuck is she using onion powder if she put onions in it? And to be honest, do whatever you want. You don't have to add additional seasoning. If you don't, just know that it won't taste as good as mine. And I'm going to put this to medium. The sauce is boiling beautifully. Everything looks beautiful. I think it's time to take it off the heat. So I'm just going to lower the heat, turn it off, take the rosemary out because you don't want a big chunk of rosemary in your food. That's high-key gross. But if you want that in lasagna, I guess that's all you, but that's not my vibe. Just gonna cover it. I'm actually just gonna let it simmer uncovered because it's time to put the fresh lasagna in. I'm very excited for this lasagna. It looks beautiful. If you use fresh lasagna, you only need to have it in the pan for 2 minutes. That's it. Just 2 minutes. You want your pasta to be al dente as possible because it's going to be covered in sauce and you don't want it to be soggy and break. So just keep that in mind. Don't overextend yourself. The amount of pasta sheets I got is 4. You can use as many as you like, but I thought 4 was the perfect amount because you shouldn't overlayer your lasagna. Because again, you don't want too much going on with your lasagna. You want just enough. But be sure to separate your sheets. Ah! They look so good! But one sheet in. Another sheet in. You don't want your sheets to stick together, so be sure to separate them. And again, 2 minutes tops. That's all you need. 2 minutes. Any more, and you're doing way too much. And close the lid. This just needs to simmer, cook for a little bit. Stirring occasionally, do not forget. Cheese break. I deserve this. There's nothing like a sweet cheddar. My tomatoes were not going down. It was kind of annoying, but I figured out a low-key hack. I use like a masher, and I'm just mashing these tomatoes down. And it's high-key working, so if you want to use fresh tomatoes or whole tomatoes, don't be intimidated by it. If you see that your sauce is not becoming as smooth as you want, just use this masher. It'll work. And if you don't have a masher, prayers out to you. The sauce is boiling beautifully. Everything looks beautiful. I think it's time to take it off the heat. So I'm just gonna lower the heat, turn it off, take the rosemary out because you don't want a big chunk of rosemary in your food. That's high-key gross. But if you want that in lasagna, I guess that's all you, but that's not my vibe. Just gonna cover it. I'm actually just gonna let it simmer. Time to put the fresh lasagna in. I'm very excited for this lasagna. It looks beautiful. If you use fresh lasagna, you only need to have it in the pan for 2 minutes. That's it. Just 2 minutes. You want your pasta to be al dente as possible because it's going to be covered in sauce and you don't want it to be soggy and break. So just keep that in mind. Don't overextend yourself. The amount of pasta sheets I got is 4. You can use as many as you like, but I thought 4 was the perfect amount because you shouldn't overlayer your lasagna. Because again, you don't want too much going on with your lasagna. You want just enough. But be sure to separate your sheets. Oh, they look so good. But one sheet in, another sheet in. You don't want your sheets to stick together, so be sure to separate them. And again, 2 minutes tops. That's all you need. 2 minutes. Any more, and you're doing way too much. Okay, y'all. It's been 2 minutes. It's time to take the pasta out. Again, take it out ASAP. Don't let it linger like I'm doing right now by talking to you guys. I'm going to put the sauce back on high and I'm going to save some of the pasta water. Not too much, just like half a cup. This sauce is finely chopped and beautiful. So now it's time to layer the lasagna, the fun part. I'm going to use fresh mozzarella. Look at all this gross juice. Oh, it's so gross. Whenever I touch fresh mozzarella, I feel like I'm touching an alien. I'm just going to cut it. You can shred it too, but I'm going to cut mine finely. And this is going to go in between the layers. So for the pan, this is the pan that I'm going to use. And I'm just going to start layering. I'm going to put the meat sauce. And you want the meat sauce to be layered pretty thin. Like how you made the meat sauce thin, you want the layers to be thin as well. And you're just going to add in some of the mozzarella on every layer. So I'm just going to add in a few pieces of that mozzarella in every layer. Okay, so this is one sheet of lasagna. It's okay if it breaks a little, don't worry about it. Breaking is kind of inevitable. Even though you don't want it to happen, it's likely that it will happen. They're just huge. So I'm just going to add some mozzarella to this layer. And then I'm going to put the meat sauce on top. And this is the second layer. And we're going to do 3 layers. You may be like, if you're going to do 3 layers, why did you use 4 sheets of lasagna? And it's because mistakes happen, babe. Mistakes happen. And it's better to be safe than sorry. No worries, I have the bechamel sauce here, and I'm going to add it to this layer, and I'm going to be kind of generous with it. Layers don't have to be perfect, because you know, every lasagna is different. You're just making your own type. Yummy. This layer is fully intact, but again, like, as I touch it, it breaks. You know, it happens, it happens. I am so ready to eat this lasagna already. You have no idea. So now I'm going to add some more bechamel sauce. And this is the last layer I'm going to add it in. So I'm just going to be very liberal with it. Very liberal. Gonna add a little bit of mozzarella too. In my opinion, there's no such thing as too much cheese. And I'm gonna add some grated parm as well. I literally want to use all of this parm in this lasagna. And so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm really gonna go ham. I earned this. Keep in mind, when you're done with your lasagna, your Parmesan, you should always keep the heel of it because you can add it to a stew and it adds this great umami flavor. It's just great. You can add it to a soup, a stew, just like honestly, a pasta sauce, honestly, anything. And it'll enrich it in a way that you honestly are not prepared for. It's going to be amazing. Truly. And you have to grate the Parmesan yourself. Do not get pre-grated Parmesan. It just won't be as good. Put your back into it. I know you can do it. Don't be lazy. Your taste buds will thank you. They'll be like, thank you, Jesus, for not buying already grated parm. This one looks crazy. I'm not gonna lie. This layer, I don't know what I did to it, but it's gonna be the top layer. And she looks good. So for this layer, I'm gonna add very, 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 very little meat sauce to it. Like the teensiest bit. Just so you know, there's signs of life. This is gonna be mostly just cheese. I'm gonna be real with you. Just a little bit of meat sauce to let them know there's lasagna here. Because the rest had the meat sauce going, This is the cheese layer. This is what I call the cheese layer. All the meat sauce talking its crap, doing its thing with all the cheeses at the top. You want the cheese to be the star of the show at the top. But you also want it to have a beautiful color, and so that comes from the meat sauce. So it has to be a delicate balance. You use all the rest of this mozzarella. Get it on all the corners. Get her in the middle. Get her looking nice, looking presentable, and then we're literally going to use all the rest of this parm in here. Woo! Parm is always chaotic to cook with, but so satisfying to eat. Because I want this to be super cheesy, I'm going to grate a little bit more extra cheese. This is like a sweet cheese that I got from Italy, just so it has like a really nice flavor going. This is what she's looking like before she goes in the oven. Very beautiful. Foil's low-key slipping off, but she's going in. Now we wait 25 minutes. In 25 minutes, now it's time to take it out the oven and take the foil off. Woo! It's sticking. So now I'm just gonna add some extra cheese to the top and let this cook. Okay guys, I took the lasagna out the oven. It's looking quite beautiful. Let me show you. Yeah, she's brown, she's beautiful. So now it's just time to cut it. This is probably the best way to cut it. Pro tip, you should let your lasagna rest before you cut it open. So I like to let it rest at least 15 minutes at the very least. But a lot of people will literally refrigerate this overnight, let it congeal together, and then finally eat it. You don't have to be that hardcore, but whatever works for you works for you. This is what I'm doing. I'm cutting it after 15 minutes. So let's get a good corner piece going. And obviously part of the reason why you cut is because you want the cheese to get all loosey-goosey. Ooh. Yes. I got a little messy with it, but this is what she's looking like. Very delicious looking. This is what she's looking like, very beautiful. Now I'm just gonna grate some parm on top. Beautiful. Really gorgeous. I'm so excited. Delicious, guys. This is how you make just traditional Italian lasagna. It's crispy, it's cheesy, it's just absolutely delicious, and each layer is decadent. Try this at home and let me know what you think, because I'm obsessed. In the comments, let me know what I should make next, because this lasagna is amazing. I usually don't like meat, but I love the meat in this. It's like absolutely divine. Okay, bye guys.